everyone, this is Art Apart, the monthly arts and crafts program with the Boulder City Library in Boulder City, Nevada. I am Kayley Hofster, the Information Services Assistant here at the library, and this month we are going to talk about some different Valentine's Day crafts. I know I may have jumped into it a bit early, but I thought that my house looked a little bit drab after taking down all my Christmas decorations, and I thought that maybe like a month or so ahead it would be a great time to start making some different Valentines or different fun cards for the loved ones in my life. So I have a couple of different ideas to show you today to make some Valentine's decor for your home, and to also start to think about maybe some little tiny gifts that you might give to people for Valentine's. I do have a bit of a New Year's spin to this video though, and I'm going to talk about Creative Bug again. I know I highlighted Creative Bug in the very first episode of Art Apart when I made the crochet pumpkins, but I thought that this would be a great time to talk about Creative Bug because maybe a lot of us want to learn different skills now that the new year has rolled around, and Creative Bug is a great outlet to learn different things. I know in the last couple of weeks I started to pick up line drawing and watercoloring, and they're both really fun activities to do at home while we're all still kind of stuck in quarantine, while we're all waiting for that amazing vaccine. Hopefully it'll get rolled out to the rest of us soon. So we're going to cut to voiceover Kayley here to learn more about Creative Bug as a library resource and how you can sign up for Creative Bug on your own. I'll also give a sneak peek to what different classes I'm learning myself on Creative Bug, to one, just for general entertainment, and two, to help with these crafting videos that we're doing together.
Hey everybody, it's voiceover Kayley here, and I'm just gonna talk to you guys a little bit more about Creative Bug. Creative Bug is an art and crafting resource available for free through the Boulder City Library when you sign up with your library card. Creative Bug has thousands of award-winning art and craft video classes taught by recognized design experts and artists. These videos cover many different topics, including knitting, crochet, art and design, paper, sewing, quilting, jewelry, kids crafts, and more. To sign up for Creative Bug, follow the link on the Boulder City homepage under the Books, Movies, and More tab and input your library card. It's as easy as that. And then you can start browsing the many crafting videos Creative Bug has to offer. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave me a comment on this video or give us a call at the library, and our number is 702-293-1281. You can see down at the bottom of my homepage the different classes that I've been looking at on Creative Bug lately. So I've been interested in beginning to learn how to line draw and also play around with some watercolors. So you all should look at Creative Bug as well and see what may pique your interest and what different crafts you might want to start in the new year. All right, everybody, happy crafting!
So for our crafts today, we are going to make a Valentine's Day banner, make some different cards using washi tape is the example that I have, but I have some other ideas for Valentine's as well. I'll show you how to make tissue paper flowers for those in your life, and also if you have a plant at home and you're thinking about giving someone a live Valentine, how to make cuttings from a pothos plant to be able to give to someone so that they can grow roots and plant their own plant for Valentine's Day. This is a prototype of the Valentine's banner that I made for the first craft we're going to talk about. I also made a larger scale of this banner for the library to give us a little bit of Valentine's Day decorations that I'll show you guys a picture of too. But this one I hand painted the love and the little hearts, but I will also show you how to decorate this in a different way if you're not really feeling up to painting a banner yourself. Alright, next up, these are the prototypes I made of the washi tape Valentine's Day cards. So each of these have a different pattern of washi tape that I made into a heart, but I also have some ideas using our Creative Bug resources and the different crafting techniques that I learned on how to make other versions of these little cute heart Valentines. And then I don't have an example of the plant cutting here at the library today, but I do have an example of these nice pretty paper flowers. My mom is the one who taught me how to make these tissue paper flowers, and we used to give them for Valentine's Day, or if someone wasn't feeling very well, we would give them as a get well soon gift, and so on and so forth. These are really great for Mother's Day as well, or Grandparents' Day, and I'm excited to share how to make these with you. Awesome. Well, first we're going to get into the paper banner craft. All right. Okay, everybody, so like I said in the last clip, we're going to start with the Valentine's Day banner for our first craft. So for this craft, depending on what variation of it you make, you will want a book that you're okay ripping up. So you can see this one, I've already started with my prototype, so I have some pages gone. So a craft book, if you don't have a book in your household that you are willing to rip up, you can get books at the dollar store. Then you'll want a pair of scissors, a hole punch. It's okay if you don't have one of these single hole punches. A 3-hole punch will work just as fine. You'll need some thread. And you'll need a glue stick. I just have the classic purple Elmer's glue stick, but you can use any glue stick you have. And then depending on the variation of this banner you'll make, you'll either want some paint and a paintbrush, or some sort of colorful craft paper. This is just colorful printer paper, it's a bit thinner, but if you have regular construction paper at home, that'll work perfect as well. Okay. So to start this craft on either variation, you will want to get a page of paper, and you can do this by using either a pair of scissors or a box cutter and taking it and scoring here along this edge. Depending on how hard you press, depends on how many pages will come off. So with this, I'll grab a page. So you see it kind of came out, but there's a bit of a rough edge. So for this, we're going to be making a slightly bigger banner than this one that I showed you guys in the introduction. And this banner I'm actually making here for the library to decorate for Valentine's Day. But for this smaller banner, before I cut the page into two, I cut the white border off to make a bit of a smaller shape. But for this one, I'm going to leave it on. So I'll fold it in half along the length so you have this shape, and then to get rid of this rough edge I will be cutting off to the words on this little part right here. So I have that little bit cut off, and now I have 2 pages, so I'm going to cut along here to get 2 different squares. All right, so I cut along the center and now I have 2 squares. And then if you wanted a thicker banner like this one that I painted on, you will take a moment and glue these 2 pieces together right now. But if you're just doing a single sheet banner, which is the one I'm making right now, you'll go ahead and cut these 2 without gluing them. And if you want to cut all of your rectangles first and then cut them as you go, you can cut probably 4 or 5 pages at a time to just give you a little bit of slack. But I am cutting off from this blank edge because some of this will go away from the triangle that we cut in the banner shape. So I'm doing it here so that we don't get rid of some of our words. So I'm going to fold it in half and just pinch right here so I know where the center point is. And now you probably can't see it on camera, but there is kind of this small crease here, and that's where I'm going to use my scissors to make a triangle with, to help make that shape even on both sides. So if this is the one of the straight vertices of the triangle, and this is one of the straight lines of the triangle, we're going to make that longest line of the triangle here, like this. So right there, and then I'll turn it and go right there. So you can see our little triangle pops out, and there we have it. It looks pretty even, and it's okay if your triangles don't end up as even as you want them to, because that does add character to your art project. And it makes a little bit of variances, and that's what makes everything interesting, right? So now that we have these little bits, you can go through, and I have a couple of extras as well. You can go through with your hole punch, either a single hole punch or a 3-hole punch using just one of the little holes, and punch a couple of holes through so that you have somewhere to thread your banner together. So now we have 4 different banners that are ready to go, or 4 different square pieces that are ready to go, ready to decorate. So two different options for decorating these banners. One option is you can trace out letters and hearts and use paint and paint that on. And I really love this because I'll show you guys a close-up here of a picture of this, but you can still see through the paint the letters on the page, and I think that's a really cool detail. But if you don't want to wait for paint to dry, or if that's a little bit too messy, you can also just cut out a heart shape and glue it to your banner. So in this case, when I made my larger banner, I cut a standard 11-inch by 8-inch piece of paper, which I think is what construction paper comes in as well, into 8 pieces. And I'll just do this quickly here. But so I cut this into 8 pieces, and then whichever way you want to fold your paper, you can fold it in half and cut a classic heart like we learned in elementary school how to do. You can make them tall hearts like this, just make sure that it fits on your page, or you could make them kind of cute fatter hearts like this. And for my final craft that at the very end, I'll show you the second banner that I made, a close-up. I did a variation of kind of like small fat hearts and tall hearts because I thought that added just a little bit of cute character to vary up the heart size. But so now all you'll have to do is take your Elmer's glue stick and add some glue. This doesn't have to be perfect, but if you see that some bits of your heart are sticking up, you might want to add a little bit of glue underneath these little humps or the little point down here. And then you'll take this and you will go ahead and glue it to your banner. And this heart was a little tall. I could have probably made it a bit shorter, but there you go. So you will want to measure the space that you want to make a banner for. This small one up here, I made it specifically for my entertainment center in my living room, so it's pretty small. It goes right underneath my TV, and I love it. But you'll want to kind of, you don't have to measure with a measuring tape, but you'll want to take your yarn that you're using and pull out some, measure it, see how big the space is that you're using, and then cut off a length of yarn. I liked to kind of help make sure that the little banner flags stay on at the ends. I just put a knot about 1 inch in on both sides of the yarn, and this helps to, when you are threading the yarn through all of your little banner flags. So on each side of the yarn I put a little knot. And with a bit of movie magic, I already had some of these already made, so I will just kind of lay them out in the order that I want. I kind of want to go, these are all actually tall hearts, except for this one. This is a bit more of a fat heart. So I'll put this one in the middle and then have these taller hearts on each side. So, taking my yarn, I'm going to start on this end, and I'm just gonna thread through. So that one was easy. It was really close to the end, and now I'm going to take this and thread it through the other ones. And it makes it very easy with the knot because you can just pull the knot through with your fingernails, and it's pretty simple to thread this craft together. Okay, so here is our final put together banner. You can see that both the cutout hearts and the painted hearts are both just as beautiful. And I will throw up some pictures of how both of these ended up and what they look like hanging up on the screen. All right, to the next craft, we're going to be making washi tape. We're going to be making washi tape Valentines. Awesome. Now for the second craft, which is our washi tape cards, you're going to need a piece of cardstock. This one I cut in half and then folded it to make a little card. And then you'll need a piece of regular printer paper, a pair of scissors, the glue stick again, and then some washi tape. So I bought a kind of pinky red washi tape. It was on clearance at Target. And then I just had a couple of other ones, and this is how some of the different colors turned out. So this one is that sparkly red. This is that like red and pink gingham. And here is that kind of square pattern with the pink. So these are some different patterns, but you could make this if you have any kind of washi tape at home. It is also pretty cheap if you buy it in a big pack. You can get a whole bunch of different colors, split it up with friends, or save them for making snail mail and other cards for loved ones. But I think for this craft, I'm gonna choose this blue one that has some pink accents as I show you guys how to make this. So to make this heart for our card, we're actually not going to put the washi tape directly on our cardstock. We're going to make a kind of like square but kind of heart-shaped pattern with our washi tape first onto this printer paper. So I'm just taking a bit of tape and I'm going to block out a shape up here. And then just like we cut a heart before for the banner project, I'm going to cut a heart for this project as well. So you'll see I blocked out a shape here, and you can kind of see where I'm going with this heart. So now I'm just going to cut this out of the paper. And then I'm going to take this, just like we did before, fold it in half and cut a heart shape. I am going to fold it this way so that the washi tape doesn't get folded weird and kind of comes off the paper. We want to make sure it stays on the paper. But so I have that folded in half, and now I'll cut it into a heart. So there is our heart. You could also, if you wanted to save this bit and make a different craft with it, you could probably cut out like a heart outline, and that would be cute to put on the card as well. But since I kind of got close here, I'm not gonna do that. But so now you'll take your washi tape heart and you will glue it to your card, and that just makes kind of a sweet little homemade Valentine. All right, and there we have it, just a little washi tape Valentine's heart. And if you wanted to, you could make a smaller heart and put it on the inside of the card, or even if you wanted to get a little artistic in a different way, you could watercolor something onto your cardstock, or even like the doodle class that I talked about at the beginning of this video. You could doodle your own heart. You could use acrylic paint and paint a heart and then maybe doodle over it once it's dry. But the idea is to get creative, think about what you think might turn out really cute, and just make some fun Valentines this season. Because it's always nice to get a little note from a loved one. So there we have it, Valentine's cards made with washi tape. Okay, so for our final craft, before I throw in some bonus instructions on how to make a plant cutting to give to a loved one for Valentine's Day, we're going to make tissue paper flowers. So for tissue paper flowers, you're going to need some pipe cleaners, some tissue paper. I normally buy this in bulk at the dollar store. They have a lot of great pastels or more saturated colors depending on what is your style. But right now I just have this pink tissue paper and some white. And this isn't necessarily a craft that you have to do for Valentine's Day. This is, like I said, great for Mother's Day, Grandparents' Day, for maybe someone who's sick, or if you just want to show some appreciation. A pair of scissors, if I didn't say that already, and some tape. So to start out making a paper flower, you're going to want a big square of tissue paper. So I already cut the white into squares, but I can show you here on the pink tissue paper. I'm not sure, I stole this tissue paper from my mom's house, so I don't know how big it is, but yep, that's about the right size. So most tissue paper is this exact giant square size. So all you have to do to get it to a manageable square is fold it in half. Actually, I don't need that many pieces. I can give some of this back to my mom. All you'll want to do is fold it in half. Cut down like so. So now you have rectangles, and then you'll fold the rectangles in half and do the same process to make your squares. And I'm just using the 2 colors today, but these flowers look wonderful with 3 colors, with just 1 color. It's just whatever kind of tissue paper you can find or whatever you may have on hand. The one that I showed in the introduction of this video, that tissue paper was left over from Christmas, and it still worked just fine for a Valentine's Day flower as well. So for my flower, I'm going to take 1 piece of the white tissue paper and 2 pieces of the pink tissue paper. And I am going to sandwich them so that the white is in between the pink tissue paper. And you'll want a good edge. So I'm going to make this edge closest to my body here that my fingers are on the edge. And then to make kind of the ridges of your flower, you're going to fold this like an accordion. So first I'm gonna fold away from me, and then I'll flip it over, and I'll fold it away from me again. And then I'll flip it over, and I'll fold it away from me again. And these folds are going to be important when you kind of fluff out your flower so that it can make a circle. So you definitely want to get a good amount of folds in. And then you see this last bit kind of doesn't continue on with the inch of the folds I have here, but that's okay. I'm just gonna fold it over anyway. And we'll see how it works out later. It's okay, these flowers aren't like an exact form. It's okay if you just kind of try your best and go from there. So now with this one, we are going to take these and we're going to separate the tissue paper sheets so that we can make the different sizes of the petals. So for this one, I want this to be our larger petals. And so at the very ends, I'm just cutting off the tip, and I'm cutting a U shape so we have kind of a scalloped petal. You'll just make a nice U shape, and you'll continue that on each of the ends, but as you go into the center of the flower, you'll want to make these layers a bit shorter than the first layer that you made. So as I cut this white layer, I'm going to look at it against the pink, the first pink layer, and I'll say, okay, maybe that's where I want it to end. And then I'll cut the white layer here. And then so when you lay them on top of each other like this, you see that the pink layer kind of comes out about an inch or so, and then that will add the layers to your flowers. So lastly, I'll come back to this pink layer, and I'll judge it against the white layer, and we'll see, maybe I'll cut it right here. And you can make these flowers as big or as small as you would like. And I like to save these extra bits because you can either make another flower with this bit, like that teeny tiny flower that I showed you in the beginning, or you can just cut this up and use these bits as filling inside of a jar so that your flowers stay up. So now that I have these 3 sizes, I'm going to put them back together. So I'm going to fold them back together in the way that the accordion went. So you can see this is how my accordion was, and I just laid them back together just like they were, and then I will fold it back together, so now this is what you have. So now we'll take one of our pipe cleaners. I'll use the green one because I think that's fitting for paper flowers. And you will, in the very center of your flower, you will take your pipe cleaner, and you'll want about maybe 2 inches, depending on how fat you made this part of your flower. And you'll just fold down your pipe cleaner so that it pinches the center flat, and then you'll just wrap your pipe cleaner around the stem of your flower. And then with your tape, you'll take a piece of tape, and you will take the sides of your flower and tape it together. And then on the other side, you'll take your sides of the flower and you'll tape that together as well. And sometimes, depending on with bigger flowers, it might be a little bit taut, or the tension of your flower might be a little bit high. And that's just because we kind of made more fat folds. If I had made smaller folds, like maybe 1/2 inch folds instead of inch folds on this flower when I made my accordion, I would have had a lot more ridges, and that would have helped expand our circle here. But you can see you made a nice little multi-petal flower, little paper flower. I really like the sparkles on this one. But you can either leave it like this, or you can scrunch it up a little bit to give it a little bit more texture. But then you can stick these all in a pot, and because these pipe cleaners have wire, you can bend them. You can even, if you wanted to, you can make this pipe cleaner a corkscrew, so it's a little curly cute stem. But the options are all yours, and then it makes a beautiful flower, and you can make a beautiful bouquet for anyone for Valentine's Day. And these flowers never perish, you can keep them forever. Everybody, our last craft, or our bonus idea for Valentine's Day, is just how to make a cutting from an existing plant that you have. If you have a pothos plant at home, you can stick around, but if not, thank you for crafting with me today, and let me know what crafts you decide to try this Valentine's Day season, or if you found a fun class on Creative Bug that you want to share with me in the comments down below. I hope you guys had a great time crafting with me. I sure did have a great time crafting with you, and stay safe and have a wonderful new 2020. Bye!
So for the final how-to of this video, I'm going to show you how to take a small cutting from an existing plant. So here you can see this is one of my big pothos plants in my house. It is about almost 1 year old. We got it when it was just a little baby in March, and it's grown a lot. So for this craft, you'll need a little vase from the dollar store, an existing plant, and a pair of clean scissors. It's important that your scissors are clean as to not infect the plant that you are taking a cutting from. So you can see I am assessing where I'm going to cut, and you'll want these little nubbins because that's where the roots are going to grow from on your plant while it's in the water. So I'm going to take a cut from this plant right underneath an existing leaf at a diagonal. And then from this cutting, I am just going to strip off a couple of the leaves because this stem is going to go right into our water. And it is as simple as that. All you have to do is put your cutting of the plant in water, and it will begin to grow roots in a couple of weeks. If you want to then plant your cutting after it has established some roots, you can. Sometimes they take and sometimes they don't. It just depends on the original plant that you are cutting from. So I have a clip showing the cutting that we just made compared to some other cuttings that I have from the past. This cutting, all of the leaves are pointing down, but you don't have to worry because eventually they will begin to point up and grow new leaves as well. This is a cutting that I made, I believe, like a week and a half ago, and you can see that the leaves are starting to face the sun, face upwards, and it has a new little leaf off of it. And then this next cutting I made about, I think, a month and a half ago, and you can see that even though it's just a little boy, it's already growing some roots. And if you wanted to, you could plant it at this stage inside of some dirt. And then lastly, this is the biggest cutting that I have, and this cutting is probably close to 6 months old, and it has a lot of roots, and we really love this big boy. I hope you all had a fun time crafting along with me today, and if you try any of these different ideas, please let me know down in the comments below and share what you made with me. As always, I will see you guys next month for another crafting video, and I hope you have a wonderful and safe time out there. Happy crafting! Bye-bye!